Welcome back, guys. Well, who is buying these houses here in Southwest Florida? We're going to go into some of the demographics I'm seeing today. What is cash versus finance? But it's not just me at this point. It's not just Southwest Florida. Zillow just dropped an article basically stating, welcome to the slow season that never happened. So they're noticing the same thing nationwide. Right now, we should not be seeing an uptick in sales by any means, if you're going on historical data. Anywhere in the country, really. This is the holiday season. It's the fall. Things tend to quiet down right around now, but that's not been the case, according to them, nationwide. And here, you guys know that's not been the case because we've seen double-digit increases in the amounts of our closed sales. Our pendings are up. Listings are up. So it's been pretty active in Southwest Florida, and it looks like it's been pretty active nationwide, according to them. So before we get into the specifics of who are the buyers that are out here, at least in my area right now, I want to talk about the sellers because I read another interesting article and I feel it was absolutely correct. Basically, this wasn't from Southwest Florida. This was just a national real estate publication, basically stating that most sellers have never been in a buyer's market and they don't know how to react to it. So we're talking people who've sold several homes over their lifetime, have at best been in a stable market, but usually it's a seller's market. Buyer's markets are pretty rare. And even Zillow goes on to say last year out of the top 50 metros, there was only 6 buyer's markets. Now that's up to 15. They're your usual suspects: Austin, Phoenix, Southwest Florida, other areas of Florida as well. But it's not something most people have had to deal with. In my opinion, in a buyer's market, when you list, at least a really strong one, like Southwest Florida, you gotta basically undercut the competition. You gotta be at least 5% under what the market says you should be at that time. And a lot of people are not used to negotiating like that. And some people don't have to sell like they tell you, so that doesn't happen. Most of the time, people want to price high and try to go lower. The issue that is creating specifically here is you're pricing high, and by the time you go lower, the market has moved already. I mean, it's been rapid over this past year in Southwest Florida. I'm starting to see price declines soften here in the fall, but by the time you do the price cut, the market's moved because it's been 90 days. Now you're still overpriced, and there you go, basically just chasing it down. So it's not a situation people who've really sold anything have been in many times. And that, I think, is what is snagging us up here. And you know what, guys? We have buyers. As the data for September showed, sales up, Charlotte County over 20%, Sarasota over 20%. There's more pendings coming, but the price has to be right. The price has to make sense. It doesn't matter what things sold for, in my opinion, even 4 months ago. That's just how fast things have been changing. Now that is slowing. Make no mistake, that is slowing, but it's still happening, and it needs to be considered by sellers. Now, Zillow's got their reasons for why they think people are coming out and buying right now. I don't necessarily agree with them. I'll go through mine and theirs. Their main sticking point is mortgage rates are down. And why I'm not necessarily subscribing to just that is because mortgage rates have been down before, specifically where they are right now. Actually, according to them, the average rate is 6.38%. We've been there for a long time. Sometimes it goes up to 7, sometimes it comes back down, but it's not unrealistic to have a 6.38 mortgage rate over the past couple of years. Now, they are quick to say that prices have basically stagnated year over year nationwide. Median sales price, $368,000, according to them. And I think, honestly, that's really what it is. It's pricing, guys. So last time rates were 6.38, specifically here in Southwest Florida. Some of these homes that I'm walking by today in Punta Gorda were $100,000 more a year ago, several months ago. So I don't think it's rates. I think it's pricing. A lot of people ask me how many people are actually getting mortgages. Well, guys, according to the Florida Realtor stats for September 2025, about 70 to 80% of people that are buying in the state are financing. We only had about 20% cash sales. So the majority are using financing, which I think that's going to surprise people, as well as some of the demographics that I'm going to tell you about. Now, something that I thought was really nuts is even Zillow is seeing higher than average listings for this time of year, which we're seeing here in Southwest Florida. This is supposed to be the quiet time when we don't list a lot of houses. Everybody's waiting for season here at least, but it's happening all across the country, according to them. And we used to be our own little island here in Southwest Florida. I would just talk about this stuff last year. It was the only place it's happening. Now it's nationwide. And why I think this is kind of crazy is because generally, this, to me, in my opinion, is one of the best times to buy if you're looking for a deal. You usually have less inventory, but you have less competitors in the buyer pool. Right now, we have more inventory, and we also have more competitors in the buyer pool, but I'm not the only one who feels that way, guys. Look at this email I got from Reventure, which really shocked me, basically saying, hey, when you're thinking about buying a house, timing matters more than most people realize. And I've talked about this at length here, guys, at length. Everyone says wait for spring, more inventory, better weather, easier to move. But what if I told you the data says the opposite? So now this is nationwide, but I've known this for Southwest Florida. I've said many times on the channel, it's just shocking to see Reventure say that. It's interesting to see some of the new views coming out of that awesome app. I've continuously said, generally, in my opinion, the best deals are in the fall, especially with new construction, because they're coming to the end of the year. They don't want these houses on the tax roll. They're coming due. They want to get the end of the year sale off. So they're going to do crazy stuff they wouldn't do, otherwise. I just had a couple who came down looking to buy new construction, basically had their pick of the litter on 5 new build communities. Everybody was willing to work with us. It was like, hey, let's make offers. Let's present an offer. And at the end of the day, we ended up getting about 20% off of the asking price on a quick move-in, which I think it's going to be a killer place. I think it's a killer deal. It's all subjective, guys, if you think it's a killer deal or not. But that kind of stuff, I don't see that happening in season. You see the free pools now, you see the free upgrades, maybe free lot premiums, but come January, February, March, those tend to get rolled back. So in my opinion, and apparently Reventure's opinion, right now is probably the best time to get a deal. Now on my walk today, as you can see behind me, guys, have a for sale by owner house. They're actually doing an open house here today and tomorrow, but I'm going to see if they've got this bad boy on Zillow, since we pull up agent listings all the time. Let's see what we got going on. Okay, guys, so this is the house I'm going to show you, but I did see a $2 million. They're building this right next door, new construction, price cut $1 recently. So you guys can save $1 on this $2 million house now. That is just conceptual. I did walk by and see the trusses there, but this doesn't really fit, in my opinion, with the theme of PGI. I'm not even sure if this is allowed to be built there with the deed restrictions. $2 million. Okay. Anyway, good luck with that. So back to the for sale by owner, we've got price cut $25K back in August. So $550 for a 2.2, 1,685 square feet. 360 or 326. I don't think that's too out of line, but for some reason it's not getting done. Let's take a look at it. And I say, yeah, so not professional photos by any means, but house looks clean. These are really blurry. I would probably, if I was the owner, get a professional photographer to come in here, spruce this up a little bit. But is that the Chuck Norris Total Gym? Is that the Chuck Norris Total Gym? We don't see those anymore. What's going on here? Okay, so, well, that's a bit of a tough sell there, guys, because you basically have a jacuzzi in the back. Tough to consider putting a pool in there. I don't know about that. So just a cruiser. Got a nice dock. Got a lift. Okay. $550. I don't know. So originally listed for $685. Now, God, that was only over a year and a half ago. Now down to 550. I don't know. What do you guys think? Oh, it's sold. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, that's tough, man. Listed for 685 last year. Sold in July of 24 for 534. Now up for 549. Less than a year later. That's tough, man. That's tough. I guess one hurricane was enough to say, I'm out of here. Zillow seems to think it's about 522. House next door also listed 950. What do we got? Built in 2015, 458 a square foot, 2,000 square feet. Little steep. What do we got here? That's an interesting floor. Okay. Nice size pool. Little covered area there. Okay, not bad. Ooh, wine bar. This is the house. I mean, personally, the flooring's not for me, but, it's a personal preference. That would be my hang up. Nice size shower. Bath looks like it's a decent size. Yeah, clean house. All right. Nice size laundry room. I like that. Got your utility sink built in here. Got your outdoor sink as well. Let's look at the price history on this thing. All right, so sold in 2018 for 540, hits the market in February of 24, trying to double it up, more than double it up. And yeah, this has been on the market almost 2 years. This has almost been on the market. So we've got, this is like what I'm talking about in this video, guys. This is chasing the market down, but for 2 years. And man, now that's bold. In March, it was 930, and then all of a sudden in May, they're like, let's slap, another 300K on it. They may have done an improvement. I don't know. I have no idea, but very quickly took it off the market the same day. Okay, so I'm not really sure what happened there. I think somebody might have fat-fingered that when they removed it from the market again. But also, this doesn't look good. This looks bad now, and they're back at 950. So it looks like they dropped the price 25% from where it was last listed, but it's actually higher. It's actually over what it was last listed for, because they did this giant price increase the last day of the listing, and then they removed it. That's very interesting. So this looks like it's coming back on the market at a 25% discount, but it's actually an increase from what it came off the market at. If you look between the lines here, that's an interesting play. And Zillow seems to think a strong offer is about 50K off. What is a weak offer? Almost about 100K off. I don't know. What do you guys think about these offers? So who is buying these houses with these crazy mortgage rates of 6.38%, guys? We'll dive into that here. Florida had 21,000 plus closed sales for the month of September. That was actually up 13% from the previous September. This is single family homes, data from the Florida Realtors, only September to September. Out of 21,000 plus, over 15,000 of those homes were financed. That's a lot. That is a lot. And that is while the percentage of cash sales rose 19% year over year. So we had 19% more cash sales, and we still had basically 70+% of people use financing. So I don't know if the interest rates are that big of a deterrent. And that's not out of the realm, guys. That's not out of, generally it's about 30% cash in Florida. That's usually what I'll see. Now condos, that can get to 50, depending on some areas you're in, that could get up to 75%. Now, I've seen Collier County have really high cash sales for condos, and they have their own challenges for that. But mortgage rates do not appear to be deterring people around the state of Florida. We have similar stats here. And again, I think it's because of the pricing. The pricing has fallen to such a degree, not to accommodate for the rise in mortgage rates, don't get me wrong, but seems like enough people are comfortable with it that they're pulling the trigger. So who are these people? That's the other question I guess. Who is buying? Honestly, guys, for me, I'm just one agent. I can only tell you, what I see. Like I said, I'm on track to probably do about 40 houses this year. And it's all over the place. I mean, it's a little bit of everybody. Now, predominantly, we're looking at retirees looking for second homes. Some may still be working, but they're looking earlier than they plan to retire because they feel that the pricing makes sense to them. And it's like 50 to 65 usually is my kind of bread and butter cohort, but I have a lot of 30 and 40 somethings as well, locals who are active in the real estate market, purchasing. And some of them are remote, some of them work locally. I got a 24-year-old kid right now I'm old. 24-year-old kid. He's okay. I got a 24-year-old who's looking to buy a house, probably going to be in the 300,000 range, lives locally. So it's a little bit of everyone and anyone, to be honest with you. If it makes sense to people, they're looking to do it. I will say I have seen other agents closing with much younger customers. I mean, we're talking 18 to 24 for young families. Yes, I mean, I saw some of them for starter houses. I know they're crazy prices compared to what they were years ago, but I just saw a house in Deep Creek listed. You know, it was a 3-2 with a 2-car garage. It looked like an 04. It looked like it was about 1,600 square feet for $250. And I'm like, man, that's unheard of. That used to be unheard of, but that's how quickly times have changed. You couldn't find a house that size, that new, for $250,000 last year. So it's a little bit of everybody, if I'm completely honest with you. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me today. If you like this video, give me a like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.